Christopher Creek Vineyard.
I think this is one of my favorite vineyards out here. I love it.
Got a great steak to go with it.
Yeah. What kind of camper do you have?
We have a
Miriam Vineyards. Olive trees. At least I think they're olive trees. They look like olives.
Fermentation. I would say it was completely done, but it would look a little bit different if it was. So it looks like it's all solid. So all these kind of mushed up, crushed up, decomposing grape skins. So there is a byproduct of fermentation, which is the release of CO2 gas. CO2 gas does a couple things. It displaces oxygen during fermentation, deters the fruit flies from living inside of there. But it also makes the grape skins float to the top. It pushes the skins and separates it from the juice and creates what we call the cap. So what you look in here is a cap. So it all looks like just dried skins here. The juice is down below.
Ooh, what does it taste like? Do we get a sample of that?
Good. It's not that good right now, but you're more than welcome to try it. This is basically done fermenting. The reason being is that cap is actually really weak. Now, if this was further, or if this was closer to the beginning of fermentation, I mean, you can see the juices right here. I mean, you're talking about 2 or 3 inches of that cap.
Sure.
During the beginning of fermentation, when it really starts cooking, the cap's like 8 inches. And it's really hard to punch through. But we punch through it multiple times a day. That's why I have this tool here. Because the skins is what creates color, tannin, mouthfeel. A lot of the flavor in a red wine comes from the skins. So you got to punch those skins into the juice multiple times a day.
Which one is this? What?
This is Cabernet Franc.
Cabernet Franc. My wife's
this
favorite.
will more than likely be a blending component into my Cabernet Sauvignon.
Okay.
Now, I'll show you something over here. Well, the grapes get crushed up, and so there's a machine that rips the stems out, and a few stems get through, but the stems are ripped out and they're crushed up. This bin went through what we call a whole berry crush, meaning it kind of was a bin of full grapes in a way. Fermentation is a little bit slow with the whole berry because they slowly start to break down. You notice there's more of what looks like still grapes in this one, whereas this they're completely decomposed. The other thing with this guy is this is mid-fermentation, which this is at the end of fermentation. So let me see what's right here.
So do you have Lucy and Ethel here?
They're doing the crushing part.
Currently the most commonly asked question at the winery.
Had to do that.
Never gets old, does it?
No, definitely. Definitely not. The funny thing is that the entire myth of people stomping on drinks to make wine really was perpetuated by I Love Lucy. I mean, it really is just kind of a pop culture thing created by a TV show because no one really ever made wine like that. And it never would have been more than a historically a sort of kind of like ceremonial thing. I mean, it's a completely logical and efficient way to make wine, and no human. I mean, go back thousands of years ago, and they still just would have been. No, it would have been ridiculous. Like, why would you have made wine that way? I mean, the moment the humankind got to the point where we could build the pyramids, I'm pretty sure we figured out a way to squeeze juice out of grapes other than with our own feet. But people still kind of think about that because I Love Lucy. I Love Lucy is what really perpetuated the whole myth that was ever a thing. So this he's got one hell of a cap on it. You saw when I punched through that guy, it was pretty easy actually. This guy.
Wow.
See, that's a 6-inch cap there probably.
So how long has this been fermenting?
Just started, what's today? Wednesday?
Yeah.
Like this past weekend, I think.
Okay.
You ever get some juice and just make, or gin, make some gin and juice? Just
Not out of this, no.
So
It's
fermenting,
too expensive to waste on anything other than making fine wine out of.
fermenting, just letting grapes decompose. Is that basically what it is? Or do you
Fermentation is the metabolizing of sugar and yeast.
Yeah.
So
happen
basically,
naturally, you're not adding anything to it, or are you?
Yeah,
it
yeast.
does happen natural, but we absolutely do add yeast.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
there,
right, yeah.
is there
You're
any
adding-
particular kind of yeast? Or
There's lots of particular kinds.
that's part of the secret, isn't it?
Different kinds of yeast react to different kinds of wines.
Oh,
The yeast that we use to make wine are specific yeast strains that have been isolated from certain vineyards and certain growing regions. Natural native yeast in the air from certain areas that grow certain grapes, you know, and Mother Nature has just kind of made that yeast work really well with that grape. Someone want to finish this for me? Fermenting on its own before I add yeast to it. And that's due to just the native yeast in the air and the native yeast on the grapes. Once they start fermenting on their own, then I actually do add yeast. And then you feed it some nutrients. There's just some, you know, organic nutrients that just encourage a healthy fermentation. You add a little preservatives, little sulfites in it so the grapes don't rot. And that's it. I mean, there's no flavor added, there's no chemicals added, nothing like that. It's basically just grapes that were crushed up and turned into alcoholic grapes.
now if you let it process or ferment on its own without adding yeast, would it just take a lot longer? Or
Oh, no, not necessarily. If anything, it might actually go faster, but it's not necessarily as healthy a fermentation, and you run the risk of a stalled fermentation, which was actually a common dilemma this year that I had to deal with a little bit, Em's dealing with a little bit. You don't want the wine to ferment, you know, 80% down and then stop.
Sure.
And you got a bunch of sugar left over, you got essentially an incomplete wine, which isn't the end of the world. There are ways to fix it. Currently I'm dealing with that on some wines in the other room. This year there was a lot of stalled fermentation, which is something that happened.
It's already running. All you have to do is point it at me.
Okay.
I'll edit it out.
Okay.
Yeah, hold on.
Well,
That's my
take
hair.
your time whenever you're
Good.
So what I'm doing here is I'm pressing the cap down to mix this up professionally. I get 10% of this batch right here. Thank you.
You're welcome.
playing Mark this week, and it never failed. My team was great, and I just couldn't win, and it just worked that way every time. Whereas I feel like already what's becoming a little bit of a trend is if you play John, you have a bad week.